Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to In Session with Nat
and Ange.
We read up on a lot of your questions and you guys sent in so many good ones. Today we wanted to focus on
parenting, parenting techniques, parenting styles, all the kind of do's and don'ts coming from two registered mental health therapists. Mm-hmm. And what we see a lot of parents struggling with. And we want to disclaim by saying, like, we're not parents ourselves. Yeah. We don't know what it's like.
First step of parenting or what even it looks like, but we have experience working with kids mm-hmm. and we have experience working with parents. And yes. I think there's not a way to parent. There's just things you can try out to see what helps. Mm-hmm. I always tell all of my parents, like, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
You're going to have to see what works and try different things to be able to like find what works best, because every individual is different.
100%. Yeah. And it's hard. Like, from what I see from parenting is not easy. There's nothing easy about it. So like, also like, we don't know best, like, obviously in this realm of things, in terms of like, we don't have our own children, but like Nat said, we do come from a mental health background and we do work with children and parents all the time. And we talk about parenting styles and techniques and, And so today we want to give you guys the tools and the tips and, start a conversation revolving around parenting, and hopefully you take something from it and you learn something. And
yeah, we pulled in some questions from everything you guys asked. And we thought we'd start off today by reading some of them and just going from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
So one of you asked, so it started off like this: parents balancing mental health in a world inundated with new information coming out daily on their feeds. So much advice pulling them in different directions, and they're confused on what parenting style and method is the best. Mm-hmm. That is a great question.
It's a really good question.
Because for some of you who don't know like what the parenting styles are, there's three main ones. There's authoritarian, authoritative, and permissive. Mm-hmm. And so do you want to start off with authoritarian?
Yeah.
Which is the golden rule of parenting.
This is like the gold standard of parenting. Yeah. So basically in all the different parenting styles, it's measured by how much love and how much control you have in each style. And actually, I believe they just added a fourth parenting style. It's called neglectful.
I heard about that.
Yeah, neglectful parenting.
Doesn't neglectful kind of go with permissive?
It can, but I would say the difference is with permissive, it's no control at all, right? It's just all like, do whatever you want.
Parenting.
Like, that's fine. Everything's okay. Yeah. Come home at whatever time you want. I'm cool. I don't care. Whatever. Mm-hmm. Neglectful, but with permissive, you're showing a lot of love at the same time. Like, it's like, oh, I'm the cool mom. Like, I love you, honey. Like, blah, blah, blah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Permissive is more, I'm here to meet your, like, I'm here to like notice your feelings and nurture your feelings, but there's no boundaries. There's no rules. And that, I think I don't know. I think the kid will maybe not grow up without boundaries in the future. Mm-hmm. Grow up to like think that the world is just out to meet their needs.
Yeah.
And that's problematic. Not how the world works. I think they're going to get hit hard in the future when things don't go their way, and they're not going to know how to manage their emotions.
Yeah. So and then with neglectful parenting, it's no warmth at all and no control. So that's the difference between neglectful and permissive parenting. Like, there is no control, yes, in both. But in permissive, there's a high level of like love and warmth and empathy for your child, and you're showing them that. But at the same time, with neglectful, it's like, I don't care, and you could go live across like the street and I wouldn't care. Like, it's no care or warmth or control. So
I feel like, so from what I've seen, those are the kids that grow up and end up in jail.
For the most part, maybe.
No, I feel like I do see that a lot, where it's just like the neglect really does push to more risky behaviors.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
Attention. I think some of it. I don't know. But like, I think a lot of it is like, I want somebody to notice me. And if that means I have to light a house on fire, I'm going to light a house on fire to get some kind of attention. Don't do that.
Don't do that, please.
Do not do that.
Yeah.
But I think that's
a good point.
Why it's so harmful to not be there and be attentive to your kids, because they're going to end up like that. I don't know.
Yeah. So then tell me more about the authoritative parenting styles and why I can never say these words properly.
No.
I don't know why.
Confused.
It's like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Why it's the gold standard for parenting.
I think it's the authoritative.
Authoritative. Okay.
It is the authoritative.
Yeah.
So why it's the gold standard? Because it's kind of meeting the human needs. Like, I need attention, I need love, but I also need boundaries and I need discipline. Like, if I grow up with, like we said before, if I grow up just having the attention and the yes, then I'm not going to learn how to control myself or how to even exist when I get a no. Or when things don't work out my way. But like the authoritative parent, they provide discipline with love, and they let you know that like, hey, I hear you. I see that you are so upset about this, but the rule is the rule, and the rule protects you. The rule isn't for me to have control over your life or control every single thing you do. The rule is for your protection and you to come out the best you can. There's like so much warmth in the way they are providing the discipline. And I think that helps. Like, you know, I feel like we've always talked about that, where we wish we got an explanation for why we got in trouble.
Yes.
I don't know. That's
No, I totally agree with that. I think one of the worst things that I honestly see in like a lot of parents and with their children is that there's consequence without explanation. Like, so go to your room. Okay, why? Because I said so. Or you know what you did, or blah, blah. This is a child, and maybe they don't know what they did. Maybe they truly are like, I have no idea why I'm being punished. I have no idea why I'm being blamed. So then they go to their room with all these like feelings, these intense feelings, this confusion, you know, of what did I do? Like, you know, why am I in trouble? Like, they don't know how to regulate those emotions because they see that you weren't able to regulate your emotions. So you didn't know how to properly take a second, take a deep breath, talk to your child. Hey, so you are in trouble because this, that. Not because I said so, because that's not a reason. That's not why someone should be in trouble. No. You are in trouble because you hurt my feelings when I asked you to do this repeatedly and you didn't. So now this is your consequence and you have to go to your room.
Yeah.
That's being, you know, still like sticking to the boundaries that are in place and the rules that are in place. But at the same time, like not dismissing them as a human being, you know, because children are not stupid. Children are very, very, very smart. And they understand. They are like sponges. They know when something's off. They feel when something's off. So talk to them, not like an adult per se, of course, but like talk to them like they are the human that they are. And hey, this is what's going on, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I also think it's important to know when to say that though. Because sometimes I feel like when a kid is dysregulated, no matter how much you talk, it's going to go in through one ear, out the other. It might even make it worse. So I think wait till they're calm and explain to them in a very simple phrase. You're going to your room because you didn't follow the rule. And the rule was this. That's it. Like there's no more you need to say, because that's exactly what it was. And I think over time it'll start to register.
I agree.
But also, like, I think what's important is to be able to identify feelings and speak that for your kid. Because I know sometimes, like, parents don't do that. Like, I don't do that. Like, Ange, you know, you look really upset today. you're like, I'm not like reflecting feeling back to you. And that's something we learned in therapy. Reflect feelings back to your kid. It helps them regulate. It helps them understand their own emotions and recognize like, oh, this is what I'm going through. So that's really good. And that's a part of like the authoritative style.
Yes.
One of them that we should talk about is the authoritarian.
Yes.
So that one is like, you are in control and the kid has no space to be heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really, really big one. I think authoritarian, I can't say these words. Anyway, it's like not said. It's that you have full control over your child's everything, and there's no warmth. Again, it's low warmth, high control in this situation. So it's, because I said so. It's kind of what we're saying. Like, because I said so. You control every aspect of where they're going, who they're seeing, when they're coming back home, how, and of course there are a lot of these things that are valid and, there should be a sense of control. But when it gets to the point of very high control and little freedom, little room for the individual to make their own choices, it's very problematic.
Yeah.
It's very problematic.
You're just instilling fear. You're not instilling like, what's the other word? Never mind. But yeah, they're the type of parent where it's like, you don't get a say.
No. Yeah.
You're not building self-esteem in the kid.
No.
The kid is actually like, I have no control over everything. So I feel like that kid ends up in rebellion. Like, well, I'm just going to rebel because it seems like I have no control over my life.
Right.
And I rebel because that's a way for me to gain some kind of control somewhere.
Yep.
So I think it's just about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Like, I understand we want our children to be raised with discipline, but like there's so many different ways to go about it. And there was actually like, I don't know if you've watched this, but have you watched 3 Identical Strangers?
Yes, I have.
Isn't it amazing?
Wait, is it the one with the triplets that were separated at birth?
Yes.
Yeah. I've seen that.
So unethical of a study.
So unethical.
So unethical. But we learned a lot.
It was educational.
Oh my God.
All those studies, I swear, back in the day were so unethical. Like if you think of any of them,
like the Milgram
they would not
one.
be the Zimbardo one, the prison one. Like there's so many that would be very unethical in today's world. But
like whenever I think of like parenting styles, I think of that study. And it's like, it is so interesting to me because
wait, can you explain the study for the people that like haven't seen the study?
Okay. So the study was Peter Neuber or something like that. Unethical, whatever.
I don't know.
He separated twins and triplets at birth. And he made sure that all the variables were like very, what do they say? Like consistent, very like, he made sure that the thing was very structured. Like every kid went to a certain parenting style, but it was always a mom, a dad, and then an older sister for the kid. Which was like, okay, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Very scientific.
Very scientific.
Very scientific. And he followed the families to kind of see like how their households worked. How did they operate? What was their parenting style like? What was the sister like? How is this going to affect like the kid? And so he dispersed the 3 triplets. Each triplet went to a different household, and each one they followed them as they grew up. Now the triplets were identical, like everything's the same. And it's the most bizarre thing that like they grew up with the exact, like they all went into boxing. They all smoked the same cigarettes.
Yeah, they all had very similar.
They all crossed their legs the same way, said the same thing, looked exactly the same. And then it wasn't until like they got to college that like, I think they 2 of them ended up going to the same college.
Yeah, finding each other.
And then they put it in the newspaper, and then the 3rd came along and there was like 3 of them, and it was crazy.
Yeah, so crazy.
Yeah.
But if I remember correctly, some of them had more mental health issues than others.
No.
Right? One of them was like more mentally like
I'll explain that one.
Okay.
So
I haven't watched it in like forever, so you need to freshen me up on this.
I think I like think about it every day. It's actually so
because
bad.
I know they were the whole point of the study is they're going back to the question we always go back to: is it nature or is it nurture?
Nature versus nurture.
So I guess this psychologist was like, well, let's really test it out with these triplets because
yeah.
But continue.
Okay, so the mom had, I think, bipolar disorder and depression. And so I think each one of them, they ended up having mental health issues. Like I think it was bipolar disorder and depression, or I think they all had, I don't remember actually.
Really?
Don't quote me on this. But I do think they all ended up having some kind of mental health disorder. However, where the nurture came in, the parenting styles caused like, the parenting styles were what like determined which one was going to thrive, regardless of like what was given to him, like what disorder, what thing was happening in his life. That's what determined his outcome.
That's really interesting. I don't remember that.
So interesting.
That's really interesting.
So, to give the results, not to like spoil the movie for everyone, but one of them who was I'll start with the authoritative.
Gold standard?
Gold standard. Let's just call it gold standard. The gold standard. Loving dad, so nurturing. Household was always like filled with family, love, but discipline. Like all the brothers would just meet at this house because it's like, it was so warm.
Welcoming.
And like, you know what? You're here. We hear you. I want to sit. I want to talk to you. I want to know you. I want to like get to know you, but I also want to protect you. So there was a lot of that. And so that brother ended up getting married, living a great life, overcame everything, like just got through life very well, regardless of like the nature, inside of him. And then the other brother, he was with the neglectful parents. Well, not really, I would say more permissive. Like they were there for him, but like at the same time, they were both like working parents, both doctors, very into their careers, like didn't really like attend or like were there that often for him to like if he had a need for them to meet that need.
Okay.
So that brother ended up, like I said, kind of rebellious in prisons, risky behaviors. But you know what? Overall, like he still was like, okay. And then sadly, the last brother who grew up in the authoritative household, authoritarian household, he ended up committing suicide. Yeah. And that was such a hard thing to like see and watch. Yeah. But it really did teach us a lot.
It taught us a lot. Ugh, that story is so interesting.
It's so interesting.
Because it really is like, it's always been the question, is it nature or nurture? And I think a lot of parents, ask themselves that too, but it's both. It really is both. It's both. It has to be both, so that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So going back to the question that we were asked, what advice would you give this person? Like what would you say because again, like I get that's hard. Like you're seeing things all the time, like on social media or from your doctors, or you're hearing different things all the time of like, this is what you should do. No, this is what you should do. No, this. So it's like, how would you go about that? How would you tell them to go about that?
I think you have to learn how to change your dialogue. Like learn how to give more praise of effort rather than praising the kid over like the correction, but still have there be a correction. So there's a rule. It's called the 4-to-1 ratio for praise versus correction. 4 praises to 1 correction. And what that does is it's like you're trying to increase positive behavior and have the child, want to seek out positive behaviors because, hey, parents are like noticing my hard work and my ability to fix my mistakes. Like if your kid made a mess, kids make messes.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. But what's important is if he picks up after himself and he puts everything away, praise that.
Yeah.
oh my gosh, you know what? You made a mess, but you ended up cleaning it up.
Mhm.
And that was so awesome that you did that. So you're you're boosting his self-esteem of like, I can do things. I can fix my mistakes.
Mhm.
Now, correction, we all need boundaries.
Of course.
If someone is, just hitting you, we got to reinforce that rule, and we got to know like how to, provide a consequence when a consequence needs to be provided. Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say?
That's a really good point. I think I would say that, first of all, no one's really going to know your child better than you are, so you hear all these things from doctors saying this and social media saying that, but at the end of the day, you know your child better than anyone. These are all tools and tips. It's never do this, do that, this is just tips. I think one of the biggest things that I think is so important to stress when it comes to parents, and no matter what you choose to do with them, no matter whose advice you choose to follow, be consistent in everything that you're doing. Be consistent. Don't say one thing and then go back on your word.
Mm-hmm.
If you are telling your child, if you finish your homework, you get to play on your iPad for an hour, and then they do their homework and you don't give them the iPad. Well, that's not helpful for anyone. Yeah. Or if another way to think about it, if they do, like, let's say they do their homework and you do give them the iPad, but instead of, you originally said 1 hour and you let them be on it for 2 hours. Well, that's not okay either. You have to be consistent in everything you're doing. Be consistent in the consequences, if they're throwing a temper tantrum, let them throw that temper tantrum. You are not going to go back on your word. You said you're not going to buy that thing for them. Don't buy that thing for them just because they're kicking and screaming. And yes, it is very embarrassing, especially when you're probably out at a grocery store and your kid wants a piece of candy and you said no, and now they're throwing the tantrum. But do not give in. And as uncomfortable as it is, don't, because what that is teaching them then is that your word doesn't really mean much, first of all. Mm-hmm. And second of all, hey, maybe kicking and screaming is the way that I get what I want now, So it's very important to be consistent in whatever you do and all the consequences and everything. So I think that's really, really, really huge. And I feel like I see that being a problem for a lot of parents, is that they're not consistent with their word. You know, they say something and then they don't have anything to back it up. And it's just like, okay, the kid is like, well, I'm not going to take you seriously. Like, you don't know what you're talking about.
I'm going to throw a tantrum.
So that behavior is still there. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't think it's really rarely ever the child. It's always goes back to something happening in the household, something happening with the parents and the way you're parenting. It's very rare for, a 3-year-old to be biting. And they're biting you and they're very aggressive. Okay, why is my 3-year-old biting? Well, it's not the 3-year-old. What's going on at home? What's happening that they don't know how to communicate their feelings? And so then they have to resort to biting because they're feeling something. They don't know how to label it and name it, like we said, and then what to do about it. Yeah.
I think that was actually one of the questions that you guys asked. Like, how can I properly label and name my kid's emotions? And it's as simple as like, you're really feeling upset that you didn't get your toy, or you feel very disappointed that you didn't get to go to the playground. You're labeling an emotion and you're associating it with what actually happened. So that's a way for you to kind of
100%
kid figure out how to regulate.
Yes. Yeah. And it's active listening. That's a big thing they teach us in grad school to be therapists. Yeah. We do active listening all the time. And what active listening is we re-say what our client just told us. So like, let's say our client said something about how they're feeling and we re-say it to show that we are listening to you. We hear you, it's not going in one ear and out the other. And it gives you time to also process what you just said. And maybe saying it out loud helps you process. So I think it's the same thing with kids.
For sure.
Kids want to be listened to.
Yeah.
They want to be heard. They want to be heard. And so try that. Try if you have a conversation with your child. I don't know if you guys have you ever heard of Dr. Amen? He's a very famous child psychologist.
I feel like I have.
Okay, so Dr. Amen is a very famous child psychologist, like I said, and well, psychologists in general. Well,
sorry,
you're thinking something. Okay. Anyway, he was saying the biggest piece of advice he gives to parents is spend 20 minutes a day with your child, at least 20 minutes. 20 minutes with no commands. Nah, what is going on? Okay. I have to know what you're thinking now.
Nothing. I was going to mention, since you mentioned the doctor, I was like, oh, I know another doctor, Dr. Ross Geller. And I was like, his name is not Dr. Ross Geller.
Dr. Ross Geller, the paleontologist. I'm so done.
Oh God. Sorry guys. Angie, please continue your story.
No
it's
worries.
Dr. Ross Green. No. Go ahead.
Okay. Rachel Green. Wait, is that actually Dr. Ross Green?
I'm gonna search this up while she
Okay.
tells you.
So basically, Dr. Amen says that one of the biggest things that you can do for your child is spend 20 minutes a day with them. And 20 minutes means 20 minutes with no commands, no questions, no nothing, just spending time with them, talking to them, listening to them. And so I think that's a beautiful way to, show up and be there for your child. And what's it called? Yeah. And to show them that like you're there and you're listening and you really do care about what they're going through or what they have to say,
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful opportunity to use that active listening and repeat what they said to you to show them that you're there and you hear them. And It's a beautiful opportunity to teach feelings, feeling words, in therapy, we use this thing called the feelings wheel.
Yeah.
So it's for adults, honestly, we use it for adults all the time. And it's a big wheel that has a bunch of feeling words on it. And so, there's so many things like that to help, start teaching that in your children.
No, for sure. And like hearing you talk, it kind of reminded me of some of the things I give to my parents. Sometimes there's damaged relationships between parent and child.
Yeah.
And what that does is it doesn't allow the kid to trust you or trust your word. And so what we can do to help fix that is setting up this thing called special playtime. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you've learned about play therapy before.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So play therapy is you kind of tracking, you're setting up an environment where the kid takes the lead. Mm-hmm. They are choosing everything for 30 minutes to an hour, and they are choosing what they want to do. And you are just following and you're reflecting back what they're doing. So if he's picking up a toy and looking at it, you can say something like, you're really curious about this toy. Mm. Or if he's scribbling on a piece of paper, you're tracking down what he's doing. You're scribbling all over this paper. Oh my gosh. Mm. And then, so that is a way to help repair that relationship. Now, for parents, obviously nobody has time to just sit there and just I'm going to give you 1 hour of my day to just full attention and you can do whatever you want. That sounds terrifying to a lot of parents, but you can do it for 20 minutes a day. Mm. And for 20 minutes a day, I say sometimes prepare your environment so that, let's say they want to scribble on the wall and that's allowed. Mm. Put some paper on the wall, cover it up, make sure that there's space for them to actually choose what they want to choose, but everything else is protected. Mm-hmm. And that just helps bring back that relationship. It helps with the naming the feelings. It helps with helping the kid feel recognized and listened to and heard. And you're bringing back the warmth into the relationship so that if eventually the whole disciplinary things can follow after that, because now you've built that base, you've built that foundation, and you have that rapport with your kid so that they can trust you and trust your word and know that you are saying things not because you want control over them. You are saying these things because you truly want to protect them. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. What about because I see this all the time and I want to hear your thoughts on it. What about the parents that will tell you, like, for example, like, they do so much for their kids, right? And to the point where it's like, okay, let's say their kid forgot their jacket and they went to school and it's really cold. And so they go and they drive and they give their kid their jacket, or they forgot their homework. They take them their homework, or, you know, they didn't clean their room, so they cleaned it for them that day. Or what would you say to those parents who tell you, well, I love my kids and I would do anything for them.
Mhm.
And, it's okay. Like, it took 30 minutes out of my day, but it's fine. As long as, like, I don't want him to get a bad grade because he didn't turn in his homework. I'd rather just go give the homework.
Yeah.
What would you say about that?
I think that's so hard because I hear that parent. I feel that, like, me being put in that position, I don't know what I would do either. I feel like I'd be like, no, I'm going to go get you the jacket.
Yeah.
But you also have to understand, like, the natural consequences of life teach your child how life works. Like, if you forget your homework, I'm sorry. That was on you. You should remember your homework. That will teach your kid, like, nobody wants to be that kid in class, like, oh my God, I forgot my homework. That's anxiety provoking. Like, I don't want to be that kid. But so if I actually forget my homework that one day, I'm going to make sure next time I remember to put my homework in my backpack because I don't want that to happen to me again. And that's not on you.
No.
I don't want parents to think it's on them for a child's mistake, but it is on you how you react to it.
100%.
You know?
100%.
So it's like, okay, if the child missed the homework, like, let them learn through that natural consequence. There's no, like, what's the word? You're not breaking your relationship with your kid because you didn't go give them their homework.
100%. You know? And it doesn't mean that you don't love them. If you don't, if anything, this is showing love, you know, what you're doing by letting natural consequences happen, which I love that you use that word because that's what it is. You are showing this is the love. This is the form of love because it does teach that, like, there is a sense of responsibility and life doesn't just work out that way, you know, and 10 years down the line, like, okay, it's normal for a kid to forget their homework. It's normal for a kid to not want to clean up their room. It's normal for them to forget their jacket, but it is really, really important so then it's like, it's hard and it's uncomfortable because, of course, like, you want the best for your child, but remind yourself that this is the best for your child. In the long run, you have to think of it as, when it's uncomfortable in the moment, no matter if we're talking about letting natural consequences happen, no matter if we're talking about temper tantrums, no matter if we're talking about anything, it's uncomfortable for the parent. And I'm sure you were getting really anxious yourself as this is happening, but remind yourself to take a couple deep breaths and that you're playing the long game. And in the long run, this is best for your child, you know, even though it feels uncomfortable, even though it's an icky feeling, even though it might feel like you're the worst mom or dad in the world in the moment, remind yourself why you're doing it and that it's bringing your child good in the future.
Yeah. No, I like that you said that. I think that's so important for people to hear. Like, it's not that you don't love your child. No. It really isn't. You teaching your child how to deal with life is not a form of I don't love my child. It's a form of I love you so much. I want you to thrive in life. I want to see your best self come out. I don't want to see wasted potential because I know you have it in you and I know I can nurture that through life can give that to you if you let it, if you have that perspective for it. Like, you need to learn how to separate the two. If that makes sense.
I definitely
agree. I can love you, but I can also teach you.
Yes. Yeah. It can be both.
It can be both. That's for sure.
Yeah. So that's why we say authoritative.
Yes. We still haven't learned it.
But it's also like the word itself, I can't say it. Like authoritative. Yes. Authoritative.
The golden standard.
Anyway, that is the golden standard. That's why we say it's the golden standard, because you are showing your child that you love them and you are giving that warmth, because that warmth is really, really important as well. But at the same time, you know, there's a good level of control in there too, because you are the parent and you're the parent for a reason, you know?
Yeah.
It's going back to Dr. Amen. I want to know if you figured out what that doctor's name
is. It is Dr. Ross Green.
Green. Wow. Yeah. Cool. Anyway. No, because I was like, no way she said green like Rachel. That's what I thought.
I start like Ross.
No way. Then it makes sense why you said Ross Geller, Dr. Ross Geller, because Ross.
It was
Green
very close.
It's very close. Yeah. Anyway,
but imagine I said that and like, just we went with it.
We're like, yeah, sure, Dr. Ross Geller. Imagine. I forgot what I was saying. Let me have a podcast.
That one thing, you remember that one thing you were saying? It was about that thing. I always try this technique. It never works.
It's like, what thing? You're not being helpful, Nat.
I find that like, it's like, oh yeah. Like, I see what you're saying.
No.
Yes. You're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that one thing. That's what I'm trying to figure out what the one thing was. Anyway.
Dr. Amen.
Amen. Yes, Dr. Amen. But what about him?
We don't deserve the podcast.
Honestly, who let us? Dr. Amen. Oh my gosh, what did Dr. Amen say? He said a lot. He's a really guys.
He's a really cool guy.
He's in it. Honestly, he's such an educated child psychologist. Oh, this is what he said. Oh, because I was saying your parents for a reason, and that's really important to state here. He says he likes to always say that God gives us parents until our frontal lobes develop, which is,
okay,
which is like it's like so true. Like
that is very true.
You have to remember your child, their frontal lobe is not fully developed. Like they don't know when it comes to decision making, like the full, like proper, fully grown adult does. So of course you have to be there. Of course you have to guide them, but you also have to give them room to grow. Yeah. You also have to do it in a loving way. And that also brings me back on like tone and like, what about the parents that like, obviously like parents get overwhelmed very easily. So what about the parents that like their first instinct is to like yell and scream and respond to a child that way? Let's say a child's doing something that feels frustrating or overwhelming for the parent. So they yell about it and they raise their voice and they get really angry and scary, some might say.
What I would say to those parents is like, your child is picking up on everything you're doing. Your child learns from modeling. So if you are going to react in a way of screaming and yelling, then your child is mimicking that.
Yeah.
So you have to know how to respond to the kid, and you have to know like in your own life and your own ways of dealing with situations. Like if like, let's say a married couple, am I responding to my husband in a way like when he comes at me with an issue like, your kid is watching.
Yeah.
He's going to pick up on like that. If you're wanting your way in something and you're not getting it, so you're putting up a fight, he is doing that as well, because that's what we learn in science. They're watching their environment and they're learning from their environment. So what I would say is like, if you don't want that, then I would speak to them in a way that and how you want them to speak, like treat others how you want to be treated. I know that sounds like so like
cliche, but it's true.
Especially to say to a parent, but it's just like your kid is learning from you.
100%.
Yeah.
They're learning so much from you. They pick up everything from you. You are the role model in this age, in this time,
But I also think it's hard to say, because I do think you need a firm tone with kids.
Of course.
You need to be firm. Like, I don't think you need to yell. I don't think yelling really does anything, or spanking or doing any of that. Like, I really don't think it teaches anything. I think a firm tone, like even a neutral affect of pick it up.
Yes.
Rather than pick it up right now. Like, I can't believe you do this, this, and that. Like, you're so annoying, this, and that. That's not doing anything. Other than like your kid is now real, like thinking in his head, like rules are negotiable. Like mom just keeps going and going and repeating the same thing. And there's no like actual consequence that's being in place other than her just keep repeating over and over again, calling me annoying, doing this, doing that. And he's just like, okay, well, I'm just going to keep doing it because nothing seems to be happening here.
100%.
Yeah.
And they don't realize why this is why I go back to like explain to your child what you're talking about.
Mhm.
They don't understand why it's so like mom is getting so angry about it or dad's getting so angry about it. They just know they are. So like, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but like sometimes I'll see, you know, a mom talking to a child and, you know, the child, and then the mom is like starting to yell at the child, like, didn't I tell you to do this, this and that, whatever, you didn't do it. And then the child automatically is like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. Because they're fearful of the consequence that they might get spanked or whatever it is, right? And the problem with that is obviously you're instilling fear for your child, and your child is now fearful of you. But not only that, your child isn't truly sorry. They don't want the consequences to come to them. So they're saying, I'm sorry. So they don't really truly know why they're saying sorry. They're just saying it to avoid the big consequence that they've had in the past. But if you actually talk to your child and tell them, well, hey, like this hurt my feelings because I asked you repeatedly and I have all this stuff going on and, you know, and you didn't help me with it and you told me whatever and you explained, then you might get an actual genuine, I'm sorry. And from that comes progress. From that comes, okay, well, I do feel bad. Like mom really was disappointed in me or dad was really disappointed. And now like, and I truly do feel sorry, you know, rather than the I'm sorry. I just don't want to, I don't want to get hit or I don't want to, you know.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that's really important to say too.
Yeah. And I also think like it's important to note like some kids, you know, they might have ADHD.
Yeah.
They might have autism. They might have, you know, certain like conditions that like make it hard to understand in the moment, I guess. Like sometimes it's all impulse.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like out of their control. Like I genuinely can't focus on what you're saying. So it's about learning how to talk to your kid if that is the case.
Ooh, that's such a good point.
You know?
Yes, I agree.
Like an ADHD kid, if you're telling him 5 commands at one time, I can promise you he didn't listen to one.
Yeah.
If you tell him one command, okay, I hate to use the word command, but it is a command.
Yeah.
So like, pick up your toys. I'm sure he will more likely follow that and do that than like, okay, you need to get out of bed, go brush your teeth, go put your homework in your backpack and go get dressed. Like saying that in one thing, I would lose you.
Me too.
Dude, literally my mom does that to me sometimes, Natalie. Do the laundry, do this, do that. And I'm like,
what? I didn't hear one thing.
I like leave and then I come back and I'm just like, what did you say? I'm like, what's going on here?
Same.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't expect the kid to be any different, you know?
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And also like give them that one command and have them do it in an environment like where they can actually like you both are getting something out of it. Like, you know, like, okay, do your homework. Well, a kid with ADHD can't just sit there for a good hour and just do his homework or her homework. They need an environment that helps support them in that. So like, you know, like let's take breaks. We'll take, you know, a 10-minute outside break for every 30 minutes that you do, you know, to help more effectively get them to get their stuff done. Because then that hour that they could have gotten their homework done becomes like 5 hours of them like, oh, I don't want to do. And it's, again, it's ADHD. Like it's not, you know, it's not the same versus someone that doesn't have ADHD to sit there and do their homework and they consistently will do it. And
no, for sure. They need those breaks.
They need those breaks. Yeah.
Like,
and that's okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have like the frustration tolerance for it. And like, we just need to learn how to manage that. That's all it is, you know?
I agree.
There are other questions that were asked. So I would love to touch on those. What do you think are consistent authoritative consequences? Or like, what do they look like?
Consistent authoritative. I said it right this time. The first time.
We love that for you.
Consistent authoritative consequences. So it depends on what we're talking about and how old the child is, you know. I mean, this goes for teenagers as well, you know. We know what consistency means. Consistency is being consistent in whatever you're saying. Don't go back on your word. Authoritative consequences would look something like, I would say, you know, let's say your kid is obsessed with their iPad, right? And they really, really want screen time. Okay. But the rule is that you don't get the iPad, you know, until you, I I don't know, you clean your room. Okay. You have to clean your room. Then you get your iPad for an hour, kind of like the example I used earlier. So talking to them in a tone and a manner and explaining that to them, not like, you're not getting your iPad until you clean your room and blah, 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 and no, no, we're saying warmth. So, okay, honey, you get to have your iPad when you clean your room and I see that all your toys are put away, and then I will give you your iPad for an hour. Deal? And then from there, you stick to it. You know, they cleaned all their toys up. They cleaned their room, whatever. You give them the iPad. You set the timer on. Okay, here, your timer is going on for an hour. Yeah. So they can see clearly, and you guys build that trust with each other that, okay, she's not tricking me. Like she really means like an hour. And that you mean your word. Your word holds value, which is really important when it comes to parenting. And so that's a beautiful way to, you know, set that.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly said and very good example. I forgot what I was going to say.
Actually, let us have a podcast.
I do think that was a great example though. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching.
No, but sometimes I feel like it really is hard. And sometimes I feel like parents, that's what I was going to say. That example specifically, sometimes it's like, oh, the parents will be like, oh, the kid is motivated. Let me just add another task for them to do until they get their iPad. No, don't ever do that.
Why would you say no?
Because your word holds so much value. Like you've already given your word. Do not go back on your word. I think that's like the big thing of the episode. Don't go back on your word. You said it, follow through with it. Consistency. And like what you're saying, like if you're negotiating the rules, your kid is going to want to negotiate the rules too.
Yeah. Do you remember the cookie example that I was telling you about?
The Oreo?
No. So there's this video I watched on TikTok not too long ago, and it's exactly that, exactly what you just said. And it's two parents in a car with their child, and they're in like a Starbucks line, and the parents are ordering their coffee.
Oh, yeah.
And so they're ordering their coffee, and the kid is like, hey, like, can I get a cookie? And the mom is like, no, honey, sorry. Like we have cookies at home. And the kid goes, and the kid had to be like 5 or 6 or something like that. The kid goes, okay, but we have coffee at home. And the parents looked at each other and they're like, she's not wrong. So then she ordered her a cookie, but it was just such a beautiful way to like go about that. Like someone else could have been like, okay, but I'm an adult. You're a child. Who cares? Or like said something along those lines when what the child said was very like logical.
I love that.
Very true. It was a true, valid statement. And the parents were like, you know what? You're right. Like,
imagine how much self-esteem that put in that child.
Yes.
Like instead of like you said, like, oh no, like, well, you're the kid, I'm the adult. Like I get to do it. Yeah. Like, no, that child had a voice and like they used it and they were able to like really look at life in a different way. And the parents rewarded that. Yeah. Like that's such a way to build that esteem in your kid.
100%. 100%. And to teach them that they have that voice. And she's using her logical brain. Like she's not just like, it's not coming out of emotion. No, she's right. Like we have coffee at home and you're ordering coffee. So why can't I order a cookie if we have cookies at home?
That's why we always say, and that's why I tell everyone, praise the effort, not the kit.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you you're smart. I'm going to tell you, you used a really, like you used your brain.
Don't ever kid you. Don't ever tell your child they're smart. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No.
Just don't do it.
Because you are praising a concept when you're saying, you are so smart. Okay, but what's smart? Like, is it smart? How intelligent I am defined by the letter grade that I'm getting. It's defined by
how do you define smart?
What's smart, you know, first of all. And second of all, like, I love that you said praise the effort, because also people are built differently. So it's like, maybe you used to tell your child, you know, you're so smart. Like there's no one smarter than you when they're younger. And then you kind of stopped saying it as they grew up. And it's like, oh, like, did I lose that? It becomes an identity thing. It becomes okay, well, my parents always praised me as smart, so I'm smart. So when I now get a bad grade or I fail a test, who am I? Because I'm smart and that was everything that I would get praised for. rather than saying, you know what, you did a really good job and you worked really hard to get the grade that you got.
Yeah.
So good job.
Yeah.
Or, you tried your absolute best. I don't know how much more you could do. Or maybe you could have tried a little harder and that's okay next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I love that you said that.
Yeah. Like you're only, by telling you your kid is smart, you're letting them grow up with the expectation of like, I need validation.
Yeah.
I need validation from this person.
From the world.
I need you to tell me I'm smart for me to actually believe I'm smart.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're praising the effort, I am more motivated to work hard because, hey, like people are noticing my hard work.
Yeah.
People are actually like giving me, what's the word? Praise to work harder.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I'm a smart person. It's because I am a person who is able to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was able to grow. I was able to work hard. I was able to work on myself. And that goes a long way for everything.
You're building resilience.
100%.
Yeah.
You're building resilient kids. And that's one of the main goals, I think, when it comes to parenting is building resilience in your children,
For sure.
There's a level of love, and it goes back to the whole, like, don't take your kid their jacket or their homework if they forget it, because you are building that resilience in them to learn, like, well, that was a consequence that was on me. And I know the world isn't that fair and it's not, I can't just expect a jacket to always show up, when I forget it.
Yeah.
So.
Also, like, it kind of ties back to the whole 3 identical strangers we talked about earlier. The nurturing dad and the family, they built that resilience. They probably had those conversations of like, if you work hard, you will achieve so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like they probably gave that support. They gave that, those kind words. They gave the feelings. They gave the discipline as well,
Mm-hmm.
And that child was able to look at life in a perspective of like, I can overcome anything that comes my way. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no control over, the next thing that's going to affect me or hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
But I sure know that I can get through it because I have that within myself.
Yeah.
And that's like a huge thing.
That's huge.
I
that's
agree. All you can build in someone.
That's all you can build. And that's one of the most important things to build in your child. So like, don't worry about like, what's, the best here and like, what do I do? And which, I know that can become a headache and it's a whirlwind of, but at the end of the day, know that you're doing your best. And hey, if the work has to start with you, because sometimes it does, because like Nat said, you are the model for your child. So maybe seek your own, therapy or help first of like, okay, well, if I'm getting angry really quickly at my child, it's not my child's fault that I'm getting angry at them. Yeah, they did something that wasn't right. And it's not like they, but it's not their fault that I'm yelling. It's not their fault that I'm like, my tone is going really high. Like that's on me. That's something I have to work on first so that I can help my child. And it's also that it goes back to that like oxygen mask, like the thing they tell you on a plane, like if the plane's going down, the oxygen mask comes out, put yours on before you put your child's on. Mm-hmm. And it's not because you love yourself more than you love your child. Of course not. It's doing that so that because of how much you love your child, because you need to protect them at the end of the day. So you have to make sure you're good first in order to do that. Because if you're not, then who's going to save them? So it's the same thing here, make sure you're good and you're taking care of yourself and you're working on yourself so that you can be the best possible version of yourself for your child to model and grow up with. Yeah. Do we have any other questions that we want to end with?
I don't think so. I think what we can do is make this a series if you guys are interested. But we can like make it more, what's the word? Kind of specified.
Like specified, yeah.
Yeah, more specified towards certain things. Like if your children is struggling with anxiety, if your child is struggling with ADHD.
Also age ranges. We can talk about like teenagers if we want to talk about teenagers and
for sure
different stages of lives and like how to handle and be,
also preparing for parenthood.
Yeah.
Like I think no one talks about that of like the mental toll that can take on a mother and a father.
Postpartum
too. There's so many things.
So we can definitely make this a series if you guys like it, and we can go into specifics for sure.
This was just an overview of parenting styles.
Yeah. And hopefully you learned something.
Yeah. There is a lot to even say like that I feel like we didn't even touch on.
I feel like we could talk about this for hours.
And like I think there's definitely different scenarios we can go over and just give you different ways to word things because there's just so many techniques. Like the question said, there's so much. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's trial and error.
It's all trial and error.
It is trial and error. Yeah. But the main thing that we've both reiterated is consistency.
Be consistent.
Try something, show up, be consistent, and just lead with warmth, not control.
No. Warmth and assertiveness at the same time. Yeah. And that's the best thing you could ever do for your child.
Yeah. For sure.
We love you guys, and we'll see you in the next episode.
See you guys.
Bye.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We hope you tune into In Session next week.
Make sure you leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.